Well, last season, the Kenya Sevens team was relegated from the HSBC series for the first time since 2002, when we actually went back onto the series. And now, the journey back to Kenya, getting its status back onto HSBC series, kicked off yesterday in Dubai for the Challenger series. Can Kenya make it back to the HSBC series? Well, good start for Kenya yesterday, winning 41-0 against Mexico, and then managed to defeat Uganda 29-7. But just a few minutes ago, they lost to Germany by 24-12 in the last Group C fixture. So how is the journey back onto the HSBC series look like? Joining me here on the touchline to discuss much more on what the rugby has to offer the Challenger series, and also sneak preview of match day 4 of Kenya Cup is rugby administrator Kikechi Kombo. Mwalimu, how are you doing?
I'm okay.
Yes.
Thank you, and good to see you again.
Yes.
After the World Cup tournament where Springboks
Yes.
they won the game by a margin of 1-1.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I think they carried back the trophy to South Africa, which is very good for the African rugby.
Yes.
Yeah, but we are here now for the 7th series. And it's a long journey. It was disappointing.
Actually, that's what I was like. How does it? We have just started the journey. You were telling me we still got other legs to go to.
Yeah.
How does that journey back to the series look like?
Well, it works for it now. We see now what the World Rugby has done. Instead of where they used to have one tournament like that, the other time when they took these guys to Chile,
yes.
And then now from there they just went now to go and play against these guys who have played 10 series. So it was very unfair. So I think that that's progression, and the pathway is very good for this for the teams in the lower ranks, whereby they have at least 3 series. At least they be able to come up and condition themselves, and also be able to improve their skills. So by the time they meet the last 4, I think now it will be a bit balanced. The game will be a bit balanced. And now we have the first leg, that's one in Dubai, which
yes.
now they are playing in 7 Stadium, where Kenya is playing. Then they'll have to move on now in March. They'll go into Montevideo in Uruguay, where they will play, and then the last one will be in Munich. That's for the men.
Yes.
But the ladies now will cross over to Poland for their last leg, in also the way where they'll play their last leg.
Yes.
So out of this, the top 4 now, the top 4 teams now will be able now to be promoted, to go now meet the last 4. The last 4 in the 7th series. That's in the last leg of Madrid.
Yes.
So now, after that particular tournament, now the top 4 again now will join the main series now.
Yeah.
So it's a long journey. It's a long journey for the Shujaa again, because now Shujaa was a core team for the last 24 years.
Yes.
But it was painful in Madrid last year when they got relegated.
Yeah.
And now we are in the challenge series, and where we are finding, it's like a jungle. You see now,
yes.
it's like a jungle there now. Finding your way up, you must fight so hard to get back.
From so far from the games you watched, like the first game against Mexico, we flogged them very well. Against Uganda, very great win from that one. Does it give you courage and confidence on the other games, if we finish Dubai, when we head to Montevideo, that you are going to play well?
Yeah, well, we need just to be among the top 4. That's what we're supposed to know we maintain. If we become the number 1, but because Kenya is actually the top team. When you look at you look at those particular teams that are playing the challenge, Kenya is the most experienced, and they have the people who have played the 7 rugby, and being the champion of in 2016, you remember,
yes.
where it was hosted by President Uhuru at the State House. So they should be able to maintain, so be among the top 4, and then when we go to Montevideo again, we be among the top 4. Yes. Then when you go the last leg in Munich, again we be among the top 4. Yeah. Then now we qualify and go, and now how to manage ourselves in Madrid, yes. At least to be among the top 4, and then we qualify for the main series again, then we fight from there.
One thing that has also come out of this tournament, and let's say from our qualifiers to the Paris Olympic, when we defeated South Africa to qualify for the Paris Olympics, it seemed like we have got a new crop of players that are really coming up and really showing up that they can take over the mantle. And like a player like Kevin Wekesa was coming, Patrick Odongo was also coming. They look like really key players. Are these the key core players that can actually take us back to the HSBC series? And how have they impressed you so far?
Yeah, when you look at those players, you have among those players who actually supported the sevens team. You remember during the COVID where we were not having the leagues,
yes,
and we kept on rotating these guys to play, because actually what normally happens is the players are normally selected during the 7 series, and now the 7 series was back, and you see now we are getting the right players, because now you'll be able to see them at the 7 series, and now they get selected to the coach, because you have a panel of coaches who
yes,
moves around all the 5 legs and the 6 legs and make their selection, and now present these guys to the coach, and then now the coach trims them down.
yes.
So these are the best players that we have here in the country. But see now, after when the Kenyan got relegated, the other guys who are playing, they left to, now they are playing, most of them are playing in Canada, and some of them are playing in USA, like Bufa, you remember, like Olindi,
Yes.
they all left. So now Kevin was part of the team. I think those are the guys who remain behind in Onyala. And it's good that you can now be able to see like guys like Patrick Odongo who've come in and they are balanced so well. You have Oworo who are also playing well. You have Abakuse, but no, Abakuse is injured. Even Madiku is also another good player that should be able to be included in the team.
Yes.
At the likes of Amon Wamalo. You see now, Kenya has got very good players.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of the coaches rotate them and see which are the best players who will be able to be in the final team in Madrid. Yeah. So that's why the coach is supposed to fit. But so far, so when you're saying they're playing well, probably just they need to improve their skills. But because when you look at some of these teams that in the series, they are watching how Kenya is playing.
Yes.
Yeah, and you remember like what Fiji used to say, just take Kenya to one side of they cannot be able to take 2 faces.
Yes, they cannot.
So yeah, take 2
left.
faces. Yeah,
Yes.
that's why in Jera, Blacks for Monde were doing their magic to break their defense. But they just knew you take Kenya, especially on passing the ball on the left side. It's very difficult for the Kenya. So they were kicking on the right side.
Yes.
Then now this guy cannot be able to pass. So they were getting us there and they were getting. So it was very difficult to win against Fiji. But the instance of physicality came in and we were able now to unlock the Fiji. And remember when we played them in the finals of 2017, where we won 32-12. I think that was one of the biggest win against the Fijian team. But when you look at these young guys who are playing, they're eager and they just need to learn. They need to get the right skills, conditioning, and then we'll be okay. We'll be able to make it back to the series. But the way you're seeing how they're handling the ball and circulating the ball with the 2 experienced guys, Kevin Wekes and Onyala, yes. You see now they are fitting well in the team.
Away from the Kenya 7 side that for us we have tried to capture what is happening to them, we have got also the Lionesses. Yeah. Also big win for them against Mexico. Yeah. And also the 40-0 against Mexico. They managed a 17-12 win against China and then lost narrowly to Czech by 2 points, 12-10 there. Yeah. What does also the journey for the Lioness look like if they are to get a chance to play in the HSBC series?
Yeah, it's Lioness has represented well the African continent, and the last 2 Olympics they have been there. Yes. It's only that unfortunately they lost to South Africa this time around, because South Africa also have now decided. Remember last time, as much as we lost South Africa, but South Africa were not willing to. They had no plan to take the team to the Olympics. Yes. But Lioness has got the experience. They have the young players who are coming up, so they just need to manage themselves. But these teams are very unpredictable, especially when it comes to the women's rugby. When you look at the likes of the Czech Republic, you see now these are teams that have not been there, and you are losing to that particular team. So it tells how unpredictable it is. Belgium also. Those are some of the European teams. And when you look at the European rugby, they are doing so well. So when you look at the Argentina also, the female team is coming up well in the when I saw them when they were playing in the Pan-African. South African Pan-African tournament, the South American tournament. Yes. You see, they were playing so well. Chile also played so well, and when you look at the 15, we also lost to Chile and Colombia. So what they're supposed to do, it's one of the best team, Lioness actually it's one of the top teams in the series. Yes. So we expect them to do well and qualify for the World 7 series. Though we'll be having also the last 4, which will be a bit difficult because of the conditioning there. So that's where also Kenya Rugby need to do, especially in the women's rugby. Yeah. Which type of conditioning, what type of setup are they going to involve this particular team, so they get in the right structure to compete with the top teams in the world.
Well, that is the Challenger Cup series. Away from the Challenger Cup, we also got to look at also the rugby calendar that is coming on this year, and one of the biggest that will be coming on will be the rugby, the 6 Nations that will be coming on later this year. Yeah. Also, a big tournament with some of the biggest teams that are going to play there.
Yeah, you know, well, it's very disappointing for, especially for France and Ireland.
Yes.
Actually, people had put a lot of money on them to win the World Cup, and it's a big event. When you look at the France, they have not settled. The cloud hasn't settled so far.
Yes.
The dust hasn't settled in France because actually they lost to South Africa and it was too close to call Springboks.
Yeah.
So Six Nations now comes back, and the top teams, we have France and Ireland. I think those are the top teams so far. But England also coming back, and the most successful Six Nation team being England, I think is also coming back. And after Eden Johnson left to Australia, and see now what happens now is crossover to Japan, is the national team for Japan. Yeah, then championship will come later, where the Southern Hemisphere teams will be meeting again. Where we'll have New Zealand playing the Springboks, and then Australia and Pumas. It's also a big one.
Another one that is coming up, and I'll just also throw in what we are doing now with the Challenger Cup series, will be the Paris Olympics that is coming up. When you look at the Paris Olympics, we qualified and we are there, and looking at the way we are playing in the Challenger Cup series, if we were to use this as a preparation also for the Paris Olympic, can our team be really conditioned very well to perform better at the Paris Olympics?
You see now, with Challenge Cup, what we're doing now, we are playing low-ranked teams, the second-ranked teams. But we have the top-ranked teams. They are playing in the HSP series, the main series, where you have the likes of Australia, New Zealand, Argentina, South Africa, the split box. They are playing in that particular. So you see now we're being subjected into not the real competition, the strength of the challenge. Those teams that are playing the challenge series, they are not as strong as those ones who are playing in the HSP series. So what we're supposed to do is there will be a lot of kind of preparation for us to be able to reach at that particular level, to be able to do well at the Olympics. Though sevens is anybody's game. I've been a coach of sevens. I've won East Africa with the high school teams. It's anybody's game. It just seems how you put your structures in place and how you condition your players. You'll be able to. And Kenya normally does well in sevens. We have very good runners. Just about improving on their skills, and we'll be able to do well. So it's just about the last preparation, how they go to the camp, and the condition will be subjected into. We'll be able to do well.
Well, we are hanging out with the Kikechi Kombo, usually call him Mwalimu, and we are discussing much more of the Challenger Cup, what is coming up in the rugby calendar for 2024. But let's finish off with the Kenya Cup match day 4. They had gone on for a bit of a holiday of 3 weeks, but they are back with the match day 4. And the biggest game of today will be in Nakuru, where there is a derby. Menengai Oilers will be home to play Nakuru RFC, and that's a very big match that will be there. Then we have got leaders Kabras will be playing second place KCB. That's a big game also that will be happening here in Nairobi. And then we have got big matches also at Jamhuri Park. We have got Homeboys also playing KCB, and then Strathmore Leos will be home to Queens in Madaraka, and then Kisumu host Black Blood, while Catholic Monks play home to Nondis at their university ground. So Kenya Cup match day 4 also is upon us, Mwalimu, and then we have got Menengai Oilers versus Nakuru RFC. Big derby in Nakuru this afternoon.
Yeah, sure. Well, when you look at the structure and the way you discussed earlier, you find that all the teams have won their first matches. Yeah, so it's a big one. And Menengai, well, when they look at the record, the recent record, they are on the upper side. And the last time when they played, Cabras in the Kakamega, you see how they played. The game was too close. So Menengai is doing well, though Nakuru also come up. So it is a big match in Nakuru. It's a big match in Nakuru.
Well, usually early of the matches, it's anybody's game. But when it came to the latter stages of the game, that's where we start seeing now the difference.
Yeah, sure.
And then the main boys, Cabras, KCB, will forever be remaining there. So we've got Oilers third on the log, Cabras are the leaders, and then KCB still at second. But we've got to look at also one match that will be happening at Jamhuri. Cabras playing home to Homeboys. Looks like a big one for Cabras. Ready for them. And then KCB against Mwamba at the RFU grounds.
Oh, yeah. I think for the one for Cabras homeboys, Cabras, the way you see they are playing now and the way they have assembled their squad.
Yes.
I think they have, the squad is a formidable squad. And when you look at the cut is also the South African, the coach from South Africa, their coach, South African born. You see now the way how he's executing the game now.
Yes.
It just brought in new ideas, new set pieces. So the game is a bit fast. Yeah. You see now they're also using territorial. There's a lot of things like what the Springboks were employing in their game.
Yes.
You see now there are quite a lot of tricks in the game and new ideas. So new format of the game. I feel Cabras stands a chance there against the homeboys.
Yeah.
Mwamba KCB also looks stronger than Mwamba, but it depends on how the teams and how the squads have been selected for the last matches and how the coaches have conditioned their squad.
Yeah.
So you see now probably we have those ones that came earlier. We have those ones who just broke for a few days during the Christmas break.
Yes.
And they are back. So it's a bit shaky for now, at least to be told, because now they have just come from a break. Yes. Some came earlier, some just broke for a few days, and then they went back to the camp. Yeah, so we expect to see a big match. But so when you look at Mwamba, based on the past record before they went for Christmas break, Cabras stands a bigger chance of winning that game.
Then we've got the University boys, the Strathmore Lions. It has got to be a tough one against Queens for them this afternoon.
Yeah. Queens has come up. Even that'll be a very close game between Strathmore and Queens, because Queens has really boosted their squad, and Paul Murunga has assembled young guys also who have come to the team, and they are playing well now. Yeah.
And then we finish off with the Kisumu playing host to Black Blood at home in Kisumu there. Can the University boys give them a run for their money?
They're very unpredictable. Black Blood, very unpredictable. So at times they're up, their performance is erratic. So Kisumu, it's also a close game. It will be a close game against the students, but Kisumu might stand a chance in Dala.
Well, finally, let's finish off with the Monks playing home to Nondis. That's anybody's game now.
Anybody's game, though Nondis, the way they have played, they played the last match, they are playing well. They might stand to win that match. Yes. Yeah, sure.
Well, thanks a lot, Mwalimu. This afternoon, where will you be watching the Africa Cup of Nations from?
Well, I'll just be in town. Yes. Though I want to go and watch at least one more rugby match. Yeah. So I might be at RFA ground, yes. Well, that is Kikechi Kombo, is a rugby administrator and a rugby coach here in the country. He won the East African School Games with the Comras RFC. Mwalimu High School. The first high school to win the sevens. The sevens tournament outside Kenya. Yeah, sure. Well, big one. I'm Robert Osoro. Let's take a short commercial break and enjoy the final of the last edition of the Africa Cup of Nations between Senegal and Egypt. When we come back, Salim Waziri and Tiras Wayake will be back here to discuss much more of the Africa Cup of Nations as we wait for the biggest match this afternoon in Africa between Ivory Coast and Guinea-Bissau.